In the heart of Italy, where luxury is a way of life and the streets hum with the echoes of centuries-old artistry, one name stood out: Alessandro Greco. From humble beginnings, he rose to become one of the world's most celebrated fashion designers. But behind the silk, the glittering lights of Milan, and the glossy magazine covers, Alessandro harbored a chilling secret, one that would shock the world and ruin lives. This is the story of how fame, ambition, and a dark obsession destroyed everything. If you're intrigued by true crime stories that expose the hidden darkness behind the glamour, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss what happens next. Alessandro Greco wasn't always a name synonymous with high fashion. Born in a small, sleepy village in Tuscany, he spent his childhood sketching gowns on scraps of paper, dreaming of a life far removed from the vineyards and dusty roads of his hometown. By the time he turned 18, Alessandro had sold his first custom design to a local boutique. It was only the beginning. When he arrived in Milan in his early 20s, Alessandro's raw talent and relentless drive quickly caught the attention of established designers. By the age of 30, he had launched Greco Couture, a brand that combined timeless Italian craftsmanship with bold, daring innovation. His designs were described as wearable art, and his name became a staple at every major fashion week across the globe. Greco Couture wasn't just a brand. It was an empire. Celebrities wore his designs at the Oscars. Royalty commissioned his gowns, and his face adorned every major fashion magazine. Alessandro became more than a designer. He was a symbol of modern Italian artistry, a man whose charm and charisma captivated everyone he met. But while the world idolized him, those closest to him saw another side, a man obsessed with control, perfection, and his public image. Former employees whispered about his legendary temper, how he would throw tantrums over the smallest imperfections. Behind his polished smile lay a man who would stop at nothing to maintain his empire. In 2023, Alessandro announced his most ambitious show yet, a collection that he promised would redefine Italian fashion for the next decade. Among the models chosen for the show was Elena Rossi, a 22-year-old with striking features and a promising career. She was Alessandro's muse, the centerpiece of his collection, and the face of his marketing campaigns. Elena's sudden rise to fame caught the media's attention, and soon, the tabloids were speculating about her relationship with Alessandro. Was she simply his favorite model, or was there something more? When asked about her in an interview, Alessandro smiled and said, "Elena is perfection. She embodies everything my brand stands for, but perfection comes with a price." Just 2 weeks before the highly anticipated show, Elena vanished. Her friends reported that she had gone to Alessandro's villa in Lake Como for a private photo shoot and never returned. At first, her disappearance was treated as a misunderstanding. Paparazzi speculated that she had gone on a secret vacation, while her agency claimed she was dealing with personal matters. As the days turned into weeks, the whispers grew louder. Elena's phone was switched off, her social media accounts were inactive, and her closest friends said they hadn't heard from her. Her family, desperate for answers, reported her missing to the Milan police. The fashion world was in shock. How could someone so prominent simply vanish without a trace? Alessandro released a carefully worded statement expressing his concern and heartbreak. "Elena is like family to me," he said during a press conference. "I am praying for her safe return." But behind the cameras, Alessandro was acting strangely. Investigators quickly zeroed in on Alessandro as the last person to have seen Elena alive. His alibi, a weekend photo shoot in Lake Como, was suspiciously vague. Employees at his villa reported seeing Alessandro return late at night with scratches on his arms and mud on his shoes. A housekeeper claimed to have overheard him shouting into his phone, "Nobody can find out. Do you understand me?" Meanwhile, rumors began to surface about Alessandro's darker side. Former employees described him as manipulative and ruthless, a man who thrived on control and secrecy. One assistant claimed that Alessandro had a locked room in his villa, a place no one was allowed to enter. He said it was his sanctuary, the assistant recalled. "But I always felt there was something off about it." The breakthrough came when police discovered Elena's belongings in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of Milan. Among them was a scarf from Greco Couture's unreleased collection. A forensic analysis revealed traces of blood on the fabric, and investigators quickly obtained a warrant to search Alessandro's properties. What they found would shock the world. In the basement of Alessandro's villa, hidden behind a false wall, police discovered a soundproof room. Inside, they found photos of Alina, some taken during professional shoots, others taken without her knowledge. Personal items, including her bracelet and a diary, were scattered across the room. The most damning evidence, however, was a blood-stained piece of fabric that matched one of Greco Couture's signature designs. But this was only the beginning. As the investigation unfolded, police uncovered secrets even darker than Elena's disappearance, secrets that would destroy Alessandro Greco's empire and leave the world reeling. If you're captivated by this story and want to know how it ends, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss Part B, where the chilling truth about Alessandro Greco is revealed. The evidence uncovered in Alessandro Greco's villa was enough to keep him in custody, while investigators pieced together the puzzle of Alina Ross's disappearance. But the hidden room was only the beginning. As authorities dug deeper, they found a series of bank transactions linked to offshore accounts, raising questions about Alessandro's financial dealings. Witnesses began to come forward. A former assistant claimed to have seen Alessandro arguing with Alina at the villa just days before her disappearance. "He was furious," she recounted. "I couldn't hear everything, but he kept shouting, 'You'll ruin everything.'" But the most damning testimony came from one of Alessandro's closest confidants, a housekeeper who had worked at the villa for over a decade. She described hearing loud noises late at night, followed by Alessandro's frantic commands to clean everything up. As the case gained national attention, the media painted Alessandro as a mastermind who hid his crimes beneath a veil of glamour. But what was his motive? Investigators believed that Alessandro's obsession with control extended beyond his designs. Alina wasn't just his muse, she was his possession. Reports surfaced that Alina had been planning to leave Milan to pursue opportunities in Paris, something Alessandro could not tolerate. To him, her departure wasn't just a betrayal, it was a threat to the perfection he had built around her image. Each evidence pointed to a grim conclusion. Alessandro had lured Alina to his villa under the pretense of a photo shoot. But when she revealed her plans to leave, things turned violent. What happened next was a chilling act of rage. 2 months after Elena's disappearance, authorities made a gruesome discovery. Following a tip from a local fisherman, police searched a secluded lake near Alessandro's villa. At the bottom of the lake, they found a weighted trunk. Inside were Elena's remains, along with pieces of fabric matching Greco Couture's latest collection. The discovery left the nation in shock. Alessandro's pristine image was shattered beyond repair, and his empire began to crumble. Sponsors withdrew, clients abandoned him, and Greco Couture filed for bankruptcy within weeks. The trial of Alessandro Greco was one of the most sensational in Italian history. The prosecution painted him as a narcissistic genius whose obsession with control led to murder. Alessandro, however, maintained his innocence. "I loved Alina," he said during his testimony. "I would never hurt her." But the evidence was overwhelming. Forensic analysis confirmed that the blood found in Alessandro's villa matched Elena's, and witnesses testified to his erratic behavior leading up to her disappearance. The defense attempted to argue that Alessandro's actions were unintentional, a crime of passion rather than premeditated murder. But the jury was unmoved. After weeks of testimony, Alessandro was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Alessandro's fall from grace was complete. Once hailed as a visionary, he was now remembered as a monster. His name, once synonymous with elegance, became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the darkness that can lurk behind even the most glamorous facades. In prison, Alessandro became a shadow of the man he once was. His obsession with control and perfection turned inward, leaving him isolated and consumed by regret. He refused interviews, avoided contact with the outside world, and spent his days sketching designs no one would ever see. Elena's family established a foundation in her memory, advocating for the safety and well-being of young women in the fashion industry. Her story became a rallying cry for change, inspiring new regulations and protections for models around the world. As for Alessandro, his legacy faded into obscurity. Greco Couture was dismantled, its assets sold off to pay legal fees and restitution to Elena's family. The once glittering brand became a ghost, a haunting reminder of the man who had destroyed lives in his pursuit of perfection. They say the brightest lights cast the darkest shadows. Alessandro Greco's rise to fame was meteoric, but his fall was catastrophic. He built an empire on beauty, but it was his own darkness that ultimately destroyed him. And while his story may have ended behind bars, the world will never forget the price of his ambition or the life he stole to protect it. If you've been captivated by this story and want to hear more true crime tales that uncover the hidden darkness behind the glamour, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for our next video.